Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I'm here in the pantry and I will tell you in a minute why I'm in the pantry. But for the moment I thought I would just give you a little bit of an update on how things have been going around here, what I've been working on. And I want to talk about the collaboration in case you didn't see that announcement. On Wednesday, I did a live video, and live streams don't show up on the channel where the other videos do. So if you go to my channel and you're looking for the recent videos and you click on videos, you're not going to see if there was a live video. You actually have to look for the little tab that says lives or live videos and click on that, and then you will see any sort of live streams. Well, I had originally filmed a video for Wednesday, but then I wasn't happy with how it turned out, and so I decided to just do a live stream instead, and I did it in the afternoon. Well, that video was announcing the collaboration that I am hosting in March that is an open collaboration that anybody can participate in, and it is all about canning. It is the March Canning Madness. So if you missed that announcement, you can watch that video over again on the live stream portion of my channel. I also have a post on my website where I published about it, and you can get the details there as well. Again, this is going to be in March, and there will be some giveaways, and I'm pretty excited about that. And so you can get all of those details over there at that post or in the live stream here on the channel. This morning I did some errand running. So while I was in Fort Smith today, I went ahead and I picked up all of the blocks and rebar pieces to begin making my raised beds out in the garden. And I had talked a while back about trying to decide between whether I would do raised beds out of stone because we have rock everywhere here in the mountains, or whether I would do them out of wood, and I just decided that wood was going to be a whole lot easier. I have a video where I shared how I make these really easy raised beds for the garden, and other than something to pound in a piece of rebar, you don't really need any tools once you have the wood cut. That is it. It's super simple. And then of course all you've got to do is fill it with your garden material and soil and all of that, and it's ready to go. Generally in under an hour you can have an entire brand new raised bed for your garden. So as I shared, I went ahead and I picked up the raised bed blocks and the rebar that kind of anchors those to the ground and holds them stable. Mr. Smith fixed the tractor tire. I had mentioned that the tractor tire was kind of messed up, and we thought we were going to have it fixed for us, but when Mr. Smith jacked up the tractor to pull the tire off, he took a look at it and he goes, "I think I can fix this." And so he set to working on it, and sure enough, a little bit later, the tractor was parked up here in the shed. It was good to go and ready to be used. And for that I was very grateful, because before I could put in the very first bed, I needed to clear the area where the garden is going to be, because there were piles of branches and brush from when we had the trees taken down. So the first thing I did was move those out of the way. And then in this exact same spot is where in the past there has been a garden of some sort, and the previous owners of this house had put in a cattle panel that was being held by some T-posts, but they were absolutely in my way. And so I went ahead and I grabbed my supplies and I went on down there and I took it apart to get it out of the way. And so I put in the first corner of the first bed, and then no sooner did I try to put in a couple more corners when I realized this isn't going to work, because I really needed the boards. When I was in the city and I went to the hardware store, I just picked up the blocks and the rebar because I already had some things in the bed of my truck, and so I didn't have a ton of room, and I thought, well, I'll just get these, put these in place, and then I'll slide the boards in after I go pick those up. And that wasn't going to work, and so I just said, okay, we'll just halt this for now, put everything away, and then first thing in the morning I'm going to go pick up my lumber. So now this year I'm just going to start off with 4 raised beds, and then, like I have done in the past at our homestead in Alabama, every year I just added a little more and a little more and a little more. And so that is the plan, Lord willing, of what will happen here. I'm going to start with the 4 beds, and then hopefully next year we can add a little bit more and just kind of continue from there. I am going to fence in the garden. You cannot have a garden without a good fence, otherwise you're going to have everything in there. What are you doing?
I'm looking at myself.
Oh. What are you doing? Hi, silly girl. And I have still got tons of T-posts. I've got rolls of fencing that I brought with me from Alabama. I also brought all of my gates that I had. I had purchased extra gates because I had things I was going to build there, and I just never got around to doing those. And of course we ended up moving unexpectedly because the Lord told us to. And so I just brought all of those with me. And so once I get those first beds put in, I will go ahead and start working on the fencing. I'm hoping to be able to utilize my tractor to be able to put in those posts and not necessarily have to do them by hand. If not, there is a sweet couple in this area who have offered to let me use their T-post driver, and so I will probably take them up on the offer if I'm not able to get my tractor to do it. I did see a technique where you can use the bucket of your tractor with a piece of pipe to sink T-posts, and so I think that would work really, really well if they will go into the ground. But of course, we live where there's great big boulders, and so I don't know if I'll be able to get those to go in. We'll just have to see how it goes. I may have to adjust my spacing for my T-posts for the fencing. You know, we may not have those perfectly spaced fence posts this time around. We'll just have to kind of see how it goes and cross that bridge when we get to it. Alright, so that brings me to the pantry and why I am in here. So when I built my shelving in the pantry in Alabama, I built it out of wood. I utilized every inch that I could, you know, maximizing the space and all of that. And I remember at the time people commenting that you must not have earthquakes where you live. And I honestly had never even thought about needing to put a railing on my shelves or anything like that, because no, we didn't have earthquakes. And then when we moved here, of course, you know, I put in this shelving, and recently I reconfigured everything to utilize all of the space to get in more shelving, added in an entire another shelving unit and all of that. I have a video where I talk about all of it. I'll link that in the video description or up here in a card if you are interested. But once again, I did have people comment, you might want to think about a railing for your shelves in case of earthquakes. And then the other thing that people commented on was potentially putting these shelves the other way, because there is like this little rim right here, and I had a couple people comment about maybe putting these on upside down. That way there would be a little lip on the shelves to kind of help things be stable. So when I reconfigured all of the shelving, and most of it I had to completely take apart and then put back together to get it exactly the way I needed it to, I actually tried to do that. But what you can't see is the piece right here that goes on to the pole, onto the legs that hold the shelves. This little section right here, it is not perfectly vertical. Like it's not. The sides of it aren't perfectly parallel to one another. They are ever so slightly angled in, so that when you're looking at it, if it was 2D, it would be like a trapezoid, I guess that's what they're called. Geometry was a long time ago. So the top is more narrow than the bottom of this piece. And when I tried to put the shelves in upside down, the little plastic piece that anchors the shelves to this pole to keep them in place, it wouldn't go in there properly. And so I wasn't able to flip the shelves over. The other thing that I had somebody mention, and I was actually glad that they mentioned this because it was something I had kind of thought of and wondered about, and that was the stability of these shelves as far as them not slipping at all. Somebody commented that they had had issues with these shelves, these little pieces inside slipping. And so my thought, I haven't done it yet, obviously, but I plan to do it, is getting a piece of 2x2. You know, there's a reason I keep all of my scraps of wood, because you never know when they're going to come in handy. And I've got lots of little scraps of 2x2s and 1x2s and things like that that will be perfect for this. But what I plan to do is get some of those scraps of wood, cut them to the size of the shelves, and then like zip tie them to the pole so that they'll stay in place. And then that way, if one of the shelves slips at all, that piece of wood will hold it in place and keep it stable and keep it from actually going anywhere. So that is still on my to-do list. Obviously I haven't gotten to it yet, but I do have some woodworking types of projects that I need to do here at some point, like finishing all of the trim around my kitchen cabinets and things like that. And so whenever I get that saw out and I'm cutting wood, I will just add that to my list and go ahead and cut all of these pieces at the same time, and then I can get those in here. But the reason I'm in here at the moment is because I had something come in the mail that I had ordered. Going back to the comments that people had made about the shelving and earthquakes. Well, I don't know if you saw the news, but the other day there was an earthquake in Oklahoma. And I am very close to Oklahoma. I'm in Arkansas, of course, but I am on the western edge of Arkansas. And when I go into the city to do my shopping, I'm about, I don't know, a mile from the state line of Oklahoma. And so when I saw that report of a 5.0 earthquake over there in Tulsa, I thought, you know, that's not that far away. I had actually been looking at something that I could add to these metal shelves to create some sort of railing, just to make things a little bit more stable in case things, you know, rattled. And I had thought about using some like industrial bungee cord material or something like that, but that stuff is really expensive. And so I got to thinking, well, what could I use that would be kind of stretchy, that would let me pull it nice and tight, but then still be able to get in there to move things. And so I ordered some rolls of sewing elastic. because this stuff is very economical. I could get a whole bunch of it because I've got a lot of shelves that I want to put, you know, rails of some sort on, and this will give me the ability to do it. And so that is what I've been doing here in my pantry this afternoon. I bought enough of this elastic banding to be able to put straps around every single shelf, and essentially what I did is I just cut a piece that was long enough to wrap all the way around the entire shelving unit. I tied it to one of the corners, I went all the way around, and I pulled it as tight as I could possibly get it, because I mean, this is elastic, and so if you've got it sitting here on, you know, on your shelving and stuff starts falling over and it's too stretchy, it's not going to keep anything in. And so by pulling it super, super tight, I still have enough wiggle room that I can get things in and out easily, but it's going to keep things from falling over if they rattle. And so at least I hope so. So that is what I have been in here doing today. You can actually see back here, I started putting 2 straps around the sides just for, you know, added security. And again, this is really, really tight. If something falls over, it's not going to go anywhere. Knock on wood, as the saying goes. But that is it for today. Thanks for just kind of hanging out with me here today. Be sure to check out the collaboration announcement video in case you missed that. And I will talk to y'all next time.